Sa'adallah and Fathallah were two shopkeeper friends who lived in the same neighborhood of Old Cairo. Sa'adallah's business was average. He made enough money to live a simple life because his ambitions were also average at the very best. Regardless of how poor or simple his appearance was, Sa'adallah had a very thick and dark beard that was always at the center of people's attention, and a great source of pride for him. Fathallah, on the other hand, had a much larger shop than his neighbor. He was a man of grand stature and prominence, characterized by a deep and resonant voice. It was usual for the two friends to sit outside their shops and pass the time with extensive discussions. Fathallah's dialogue always focused on the growth of his business and the excitement of the buying and trading enterprise. Sa'adallah always spoke of his bad luck and the scarcity of his wealth. He also dreamed openly and excessively of his desires in becoming rich. One day, as usual, Sa'adallah whined about his misfortune and said, "If I had something of value, then I would sell it, expand my business, and upgrade my lifestyle. But I have nothing worth anything except for this measly shop, and there's nothing that is excess to my living needs to dispose of and to profit by." Fathallah responded, "Your beard is in excess of your needs. You can sell that, and I personally am prepared to buy it." Surprised, Sa'adallah said, "Why would you want to buy a lock of facial hair?" Fathallah answered, "I meant buy it, but without shaving it. You get to keep it on your face, but it would belong to me, to do with as I please, and you would lose any rights to do anything with your beard. Even if people praised your beard, you would have to respond to them by saying that this isn't my beard, it belongs to Fathallah." "I don't mind," replied Sa'adallah. "The priority is that I get paid." As this conversation was progressing, the neighboring cafe owner was listening in and warningly interjected, "Don't you dare sell your beard." Brushing the cafe owner's statement, Sa'adallah said, "And why shouldn't I sell it? What's the worst thing that could happen if I sold my beard to my friend?" Others started gathering around the three men and became involved in the discussion. All tried to convince Sa'adallah to refrain from this crazy idea of selling his beard. "Don't let anyone take away your freedom. If he buys your beard, then your friend will become your enemy. How can you abandon a part of you, even if it's only a beard?" were some of the shouts that could be overheard by the gathering crowd. Fathallah was sitting, still and quiet, outside his shop, following the discussion without interjecting at any point. As the crowd gave up on convincing Sa'adallah to withdraw his offer to sell his beard, the shopkeeper cried out, "You'll regret selling your beard, and when you do, no one here will lift a finger to help you." And with that statement, the crowd dispersed and all went about their ways. Sa'adallah refocused his attention to his friend and said, "I'm still ready to sell my beard. It definitely is a profitable deal and an easy gain for me. You pay me while you take on board the burden of taking care of it." And so Sa'adallah sold his beard for a very large sum of money, and a contract was struck between the two, officializing the deal. Sa'adallah took his new wealth and hurried back home to his wife to share with her the amazing news and show her the vast wealth he had gained. Sa'adallah was shocked at his wife's reaction. She started to cry and sob while shouting, "How could you sell your beard? A part of you. How can I live with you now?" She burst out of the room, collected her belongings, and headed out of the house towards her father's home. Sa'adallah wasn't too affected. He was now focused on his new riches, and off he went to do with it what he dreamed of doing all along. He expanded his shop, then moved into a much larger home, furnished it with new and beautiful things, and bought a new and luxurious wardrobe. For a full week, his life exuded joy and happiness. He completely forgot his moans and groans about life, as if he were rich from the day he was born. Then one day, Sa'adallah was standing in his shop and was taken aback when he saw Fathallah burst into his shop without permission and stood facing him. Fathallah started brushing Sa'adallah's beard and trimming the ends of the facial hair. Sa'adallah shouted, "What are you doing, man? Get away from my beard." Fathallah calmly replied, "This isn't your beard. Don't forget that I bought this from you." Sa'adallah swallowed his pride and fell silent. Since that day, Fathallah took all liberties in taking care of his new-owned beard. Without any consideration for Sa'adallah, at any point or circumstance of the day, Fathallah would show up to check on his beard and make sure that all was fine and dandy. It didn't matter whether Sa'adallah was busy, dealing with patrons, or even asleep. He would wash it and comb it whenever he pleased, apply fragrances as he wished without care or concern to how Sa'adallah would feel. Sa'adallah became annoyed and started complaining about Fathallah's behavior. He would at times ask for mercy from Fathallah to leave him and his beard be, but without success. His pleas fell on deaf ears. One day, Fathallah stood in front of Sa'adallah's shop and started washing his beard with water and soap, drenching his clothing. The customers started laughing at the scene and left Sa'adallah's shop without any purchases. Sa'adallah cried again to Fathallah, "I beg you, Fathallah, leave my beard alone." Fathallah replied sternly, "Watch what you say. It's my beard. I bought it with my money, and it's my right to do with it as I please." And then he continued on with the drying of the beard. Sa'adallah again swallowed his words, but now he started struggling with his predicament. His health started to show the effects of stress. His desire to work dwindled. His appetite for food and sleep diminished. And as he would sit still in his shop, pondering his fate, Fathallah would ceaselessly continue his assault on the beard. One day, Sa'adallah offered to Fathallah the following: "Return to me my beard, and I shall return to you the money you gave me." Fathallah retorted, "But it's my beard, and I don't want to sell it. I'll never let it go. Look at how pristine and amazing it looks after all the considerable effort I put in to take care of it." Sa'adallah searched for help. He went to the cafe owner and other shopkeepers in the neighborhood seeking their support and assistance, but all declined. They had warned him, and he ignored their advice. They all had the same response: "You deserve what you're going through." Sa'adallah's physical and mental state deteriorated. He was so depressed that he needed to take major action to escape this fate that he had brought upon himself. He could bear it no longer. So off went Sa'adallah to Fathallah's house in the early morning and knocked on his door. "Return to me my beard, Fathallah," said Sa'adallah with full seriousness, "and I'll pay you back whatever you want." Negotiations ensued, and finally Fathallah agreed to sell back the beard to Sa'adallah, but only if he was paid 4 times the value that Sa'adallah had received. And so, Sa'adallah sold his larger shop, his home with all its furnishings, and all his new wardrobe, and moved into a very small, poorly room in the same neighborhood. He started working as a porter in the market. He worked day and night without sleep nor food, committed to ending his debts to Fathallah. And at last, one day, Providence, Sa'adallah managed to save enough money to repay all the funds to Fathallah and take back what was rightfully his, the beard. The final surprise came when one night, upon returning to his humble single-room home, exhausted from overwork and undernourished, Sa'adallah would find his wife waiting for him, with food prepared, the comforts of a home returned, and the affection of a family restored.